welcome to the Wormwood Scrubs prison special. I thought I'd start off this special by telling you that I just watched a film on Shudder, the horror app called The Lair. Stay away from that film at all costs. Oh my god, I'm doing this special late because I wanted to watch that film first. Budget, mate. A woman soldier stumbles on some lair where these naughty Russians have been making these alien things. Oh, mate. It was made with a tenner. I swear to God, it was made with about a tenner. The worst accents you've ever heard. The worst storyline you've ever heard. Yeah. Welcome to the Wormwood Scrubs prison special. Do not watch The Lair on. For every good film they got on Shudder, for every good film they got, and they got some bangers on there. They have. You got to put up with like 50 shitters, mate. 50 diabolical crap, right? Like I put on. You never really know what it's about till you whack it on, innit? So you put it on. 5 minutes of my life I'm never going to get back. Off. You go through. You do that about 10 times. By the time you find the film I want to watch, I don't even want to watch a film sometimes. You know what I mean? I've gone through like 10 of them. Sometimes like you get 20 minutes deep in and you think, oh no, this is really shit. I'll give it 20 minutes. This is crap. This is really shit. Some of them are just so moody and depressing and anyway, talking about probably started going like letting off about Shudder. Oh, mate, I just feel like it's just not money well spent sometimes. But that's enough about my woes, I should say. It's well worth it. Get it, Shudder, the app. For every good film, you've got to put up with some crappers. But there you go. Scrubs. I've said before, I'll say it again, Pentonville is my #1 worst jail, only because I've spent so much time there, which is weird considering I've got myself put on hold there, which is basically saying don't ship me out, you know, because I've got things the way I want, got things good in there and all that, so I get put on hold, like work hold, medical hold, whatever. Scrubs is up there. I mean, I've been in some sticky situations in jail. I have. I've said them on here, you know, being in debt and you're thinking, how am I going to get the dough in this? You know, I know it's going to go off if I don't get the dough, and something always happens where I can get it. But Scrubs is a different level. I mean, I see so much violence in Scrubs, it's unreal. Like, got to be careful how I say it on here. Bladed articles, you know what I mean? Homemade, obviously. There was other ones in there, allegedly, probably. But you know, those sort of weapons for nothing as well. I've done a whole video about seeing a geezer on the phone. I'm standing outside my cell, you know, doing the usual outside at social board, leaning on the railings, watching, mooching about, seeing what I could see. And the geezer, his co-D or his cellmate owed someone tobacco burn quarter. It's a quarter as well, so it's like a pack of snout cut in half. There you go, there's your £2 half. Got to give me £4 back, sort of. You've got to give me a whole one back. But his mate had got moved off the wing or shipped out or whatnot, whatever. So the geezers were like, you got to pay it to me, you got to pay it to me. Allegedly, you got to pay it to me, you got to pay it to me. Like, that's my co-D or my cellmate or whatever. You know, I ain't paying someone else's debt. I'd have said the same thing. Probably most people would say they'd say the same thing as well. He's on the phone one day at Soch. They come up from behind him with their articles. Oh, mate, just ruined him. Over £2 worth of tobacco that he didn't even know. But anyway, that's just an example. I mean, how long was I in there for? 6 months. Give or take, yeah, 6 months. Just say 6 months. And what I see in there in 6 months is unreal. I should have maybe said it was #1. I probably only said Pentonville was the worst because I spent so much time there, like I said, and overall you get to see things and it's just overall filth. But yeah, violence was on another level there. The size of the rats, the size of the rats, mate, in this jail. And people talk about rat problems. Oh, that jail, mate, some of them. How many times have I said I see cats in there, that they brought in cats, like they were buying cats, the jails were buying cats to put in there to deal with the rats. And there was so much food, everyone was just chucking it out the window because no one wants to sit with food in their cell all night, so people chuck it out the window. Rats and the cats. Just all share alike. And they're massive. They are massive, mate. Like the towel would be like as thick as my finger. Like, mate, it's making my single now thinking about it. There was one yard near the kitchen, I think. Just walk past it at night and you see them out there, mate. Fuck, yeah, mate. You see them out there, the eyes. It's the eyes that shine and move. So just darting around the yard. Absolutely filth, man. I mean, that's where they took the liberty, and they put a wrong in my cell when I went onto the induction wing. I've forgotten the name of all the wings, and they've probably changed now. I went on the induction wing, and then I went on to the single cell wing, or whatever it was at the time. And I'm sure they probably changed it all around, and they always change the wings around, so I don't know what the wings are now. We're talking, I don't know, 2015, 14, something like that maybe. When I was there anyway. They put a wrong in my cell. I've done a whole video, go and check that out. But Harold got a single cell, he was like 80, 90 years old. Complete wrong and complete bacon. They never told me. So I mean, these people get protection. I was never told. I found out myself. The geezer sort of like just confessed one night, man. Weird. I got his paperwork out. He confessed, and I wasn't even asking him. I was just laying there watching telly, and he confessed at like 11:30 midnight. Must have just been playing on his mind. He blurted it out. But even what he blurted out was a lie. So it's like, what? I've jumped up, got his paperwork, and I've seen the truth. So he was confessing a lie anyway. It was bizarre. He ended up getting a bleeding nose, and I've got a single cell out of it, long story short. Right, but it's the Scrub special, not the I'm going to repeat every single video I've ever done about the Scrub special. But there is a video about that, a whole in-depth one, go and check it out. It just seems like these stories always come up when I've done a few of the specials now, Chelmsford, Bedford, Pentonville. Seems like it's always the same theme of what comes up. This happened in 2018. The inquest happened recent. That's how I found out the inquest. 43-year-old inmate, 43-year-old mixed-race inmate, took his own life. Lost his life there in 2018 due to multiple failures. He was found. Unfortunately, he was found, swinging. A post-mortem found he was suffering from kidney stones and starvation. I've been hungry plenty of times in my life, and I've been homeless. I've lived on the street as a kid. I don't think I've ever been starving, truly starving. Yeah, the coroner said he was starving. How was he starving? And it was one of the reasons. It was that was a factor in how he unfortunately lost his life. I mean, starvation. I've got to keep saying that word, yeah. If you're starving someone, are you torturing them? Are the screws involved in that sort of thing against them? And if so, did they get nicked for that sort of crime? I don't think they got nicked for anything, honestly. I might be wrong on that. I don't actually think they got nicked, but the special I did in Chelmsford, that story was shocking, and none of the screws got in trouble for that one as well. this poor man, he was taken to the segregation unit, the punishment block, seg, on the 28th of August and took his own life 2 days later. The inquest was held and it found that once down the block, his cell door was kept shut, locked, and was not opened even once the whole time that he was there. I presume that's how the starvation bit comes into it, innit? If someone's door's locked the whole time, 2 hours, for 48 hours, just your door's locked. That's got to feel nice if you're the prisoner, panic, whatever, thinking if they forgot about me, whatnot. Or are they just out there laughing at me, listening to them laughing? I'm not saying that's what happened there. The inquest also found he received no food or exercise, didn't get a shower or phone call, and only received a small dose of pain relief. I mean, if that was in the Old Bailey and they were saying this was a torture trial, you wouldn't argue with it, would you? No food or exercise, didn't get a shower, no phone call, and his meds were held from him. I mean, all the things that were held from him, all the things he didn't get. I mean, why did they need an inquest and all that anyway? I mean, if his door was shut, that's all you need to know. His door was shut. So he obviously wasn't getting anything. What's the point with body cams? Do you know all the screws these days? Like, you've got the body cams and you'll see it if an inmate swings at a screw, if there's this or that. They never use them for, like, against them, do they? You can imagine him, innit? Writhing around on the floor, absolute agony with the kidney stones, and they'll think he's just being uncooperative. It takes one screw, doesn't it, out of all them screws that are down there, to be a bit mean, a bit laugh, like take the mick, get a bit leery or whatever, and then the pack mentality comes in, and they'll start being mean and cruel and laughing at him. Why is he being uncooperative? Why won't he just get up? Oh, do you want a shower? Get up and you can have a shower. If you can get up, you can have a shower. I'm not saying that's what they said to him. I can imagine. I mean, when I think about it as well, yeah, I've always been polite about screws and on here, really, on the whole. I've said good stories about them, I've said bad stories about them, yeah. But if I'm to keep reading these same stories when I read about this jail, and it's every single jail that I sort of do a little special one, isn't it? How can you not come to the conclusion that each and every one of them that's ever wore that uniform is just a dog? Yeah? Because none of them are helping. None of them, it's not just one, is it? One geezer, or 2 screws or whatever, 1 screw on his own acting like a wrong and behind everyone's back. There's loads of them. And the thing is, yeah, anyone that's ever been behind the door will know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Prisoners wouldn't have left this geezer. If that was happening, yeah, to him while everyone was on bang up, it took one geezer to like hear what's going on. His next door, say, he'd have started kicking his door. He'd have got on the bell. His next door would have started kicking the door, got on the bell. His next door would have kicked. Like everyone, the whole wing would have erupted and gone off until he got help. But if you're a screw, you'll just accuse him of being uncooperative and lock him in his door and he'll starve. It's a joke, isn't it? Yeah, no, I'll read it down there. It's true though, but it's true. It's the uniform, innit? They get away with it because of the uniform, just like old Bill. The inquest also found that failure to provide the inmate with food contributed to his death. Just remind yourself, yeah, that this ain't a third world country. This is West London. You know what I mean? The financial banking centre of the world. or whatever it's called is located not far from there. That 2 mile central London bit. We're talking West London, man. One of the richest places on earth. And the geezer gets, well, you can't even say he's treated like a dog, innit? Because you give a dog food. You let a dog out to go shit in the back garden and have a bit of fresh air. Otherwise, you get nicked. The screws told the court that the inmate's door had been kept shut and his food and meds were kept from him because he had been non-compliant. What, so his food a reward for compliance, yeah? For people that go, well, yeah, he's kicking off it. Are you allowed to be fed or not? Are you entitled to be fed or aren't you entitled to be fed? Yeah? Even if they think he's not writhing about in agony because of his kidney stones or whatever. Even if they think he's kicking off, he's still allowed to be fed. Any one of you is allowed to be fed. We're all allowed to be fed. They're not allowed to withhold food from you because you're being non-compliant. Maybe you might miss one meal because you're going off on one. You might miss one meal. One. Starvation when it come into it, though, would it? If I kept if I was in a relationship and I kept me bird's food and meds from her because she wasn't doing as she was told, she was being non-compliant. Do you think the old Bill would swallow that if I said it to him? I saw she's been non-compliant. How can she expect to be given both her tablets a day and all them chips? She don't do as she's told. Do you think the old Bill would actually swallow that? I go, oh, alright then, Cole, yeah, sweet, sorry, yeah. God, mate, if this was the 50s, she'd be in trouble. But it's true though, isn't it? I mean, it's ridiculous. Old Bill would nick me. I'll be in handcuffs and I'll be gone. But because they got a uniform, silly little uniform really, innit? And he was being non-compliant, they can give it large, get away with it. They also said because of his non-compliance, it was not safe. Not safe to slide a tray of food under the door. I mean, they could have literally opened the gap in the middle of it, yeah, where they meant to put the hose and chucked him a bloody chocolate bar through. You know what I mean? Rolled up a sandwich and just chucked that through. I just think, how do you not know this geezer's in pain? You know? How do you not know? This won't happen again though, because healthcare staff are now going to work much more closely with prison staff to ensure essential health information is shared. Ooh, that's a good one, isn't it? The thing is, I wouldn't need no healthcare professional telling me the difference between pain and non-compliance. I wouldn't need a healthcare professional to go, hey, give him his dinner. He's in pain, he's not being non-compliant. I wouldn't need that sort of training or that sort of reassurance from healthcare. Why do you need healthcare to stop a load of bully screws standing around and going, right, disperse and feed him? It's ridiculous, isn't it? What the things they say they're going to do. I mean, great, good. I mean, if it saves people, then great. But why do you need to do an inquest about anything? Right? Nothing ever really changes, does it? Otherwise, these inquests wouldn't keep happening. But they can't say they're not going to do nothing, can they? So don't doctors. If you're down the block, yeah, don't doctors have to check on you every day? They used to check on me. If I'm down there every day, they'll come and they'll say in the morning, they'll come and they'll say like, the screws will come and say, do you want a phone call, do you want a shower? And then the doctor will come round. Or am I wrong? That's literally happened every time that I've ever been down, but including down the Scrubs block. That's the last block I was in. That's the last block time I ever did. But I stayed down there. I think I went like to the block for a nicking, like, you know what I mean? Spent the morning there, but like having to spend like a week down there or 2 weeks, whatever it was. Yeah, so it's easy to recollect. The doctors come to me anyway. But maybe he was off them 2 days or whatever. I don't know. August is some sort of holiday. Who knows? Dr. Anton Van Dellen, the assistant coroner, said it was a matter of great concern and a violation of this man's dignity that he did not receive food for as long as he did. Deborah Coles, the director of legal charity Inquest, said the evidence of the inquest into his death exposes basic failures at every level. This was a healthy man. Just need the old perk me up. Getting late, man. Getting too late. Start that one again, yeah. Deborah Coles, director of legal charity Inquest, said the evidence of the inquest into his death exposes basic failures at every level. This was a healthy man. Yeah, underline those 2 words, yeah. Get them into your head. Healthy man. Before he turned up here. Not feeble, not sick, healthy man. And then he went to the scrubs. She continued, this was a healthy man who was labelled as aggressive, written off and driven to taking his own life. Prison staff lost sight of his humanity and of their duty to keep him safe. That's the only duty prison staff have got. Keep prisoners safe. Undo doors, keep prisoners safe, yeah. And they forgot that bit. Yeah. Healthcare staff's working with them though, so they're not going to lose their humanity again. I mean, that's deep, mate. Losing your humanity, yeah? Losing sight of someone's humanity. Looking at them basically like they're a piece of shit, like they're worth less than a human. That's what they're saying. That's the polite way of what they're saying, isn't it? You lost sight of his humanity. You forgot he was a human. You was treating him like shit on your shoe. That is pretty deep, isn't it? Do you think the screws are kept up at night by any of this? The ones that did it, do you think they're haunted by their lack of humanity? Probably not. They're probably too thick, too fat and too thick. You can imagine. I mean, I've said it, my experience down Wormwood Scrubs block weren't even that bad. It really wasn't. Was it even the same screws? I mean, a couple of years later, you guarantee there's a couple of the same ones there. What changes in his pack? It's that pack mentality thing, isn't it? That bullying thing. When one does, everyone does. Staff had not been given proper training in. Staff had not been given proper training in how to act. They did not provide regular checkups, and they did not use or record documentation. Well, they might as well just say they didn't use it. And if they didn't use it, they didn't record it. I'm presuming that's paperwork, isn't it? Did not provide regular checkups. Is that a rarity? Is that an all-day, everyday occurrence? I mean, how many people can remember hearing an emergency cell bell? You know, you push your emergency cell bell for emergencies only. Some people don't use it for emergencies. Some people get on it every 2 minutes, but you don't know until you get there. How many people have heard one of those go off at night and it's just gone off all night? From like midnight till 6 AM or something ridiculous. I've heard that. I've heard it go off for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. It's just happened to me. Good thing I wasn't thinking anything bad about myself, wasn't it? Healthcare said they did not hand over documents relating to his vulnerability due to data protection. What? Data protection? So they can't tell the screws about a geezer on their own wing. I'm not saying the screws are blameless here, but it all just sounds like excuses, isn't it? Everything was ignored, but it just sounds like they're just making excuses up to try and get out of it or lessen it. The prison said that before this tragedy, they would not raise a concern about a prisoner unless he hadn't eaten for 72 hours. So this has been 42. So they say you've got to not eat for 3 days. It sounds like standard procedure, but you know, this geezer's on the floor. Is it just me, or does it sound like he's not eating because of the other things that complicate, like the other complications? I'm not a doctor here, but is that what it sounds like to you? Because I know what it sounds like to me. Deborah Coles, the charity inquest executive or whatever, also said this shocking treatment is part of a pattern of inhumanity uncovered at inquests. It must not be allowed to continue. How many times we hear that? It must not be allowed to continue. They always say that. What else are they going to say? It's got to be let. It's got to continue. They're not going to say that. The coroner found that no prevention of future deaths report was needed since the scrubs had made the appropriate changes since the tragedy. Oh, that's good then. Looks like that pretty much sounds like they're not recording documents right then and there, doesn't it? No need to do the report because they've said sorry and they've made changes. Oh, that's good news. An inspection took place in June 2021, so not that long ago, by His Majesty's Inspectorate of Prisons, which said that overall the prison was safer, cleaner, and better organised than it once was. Although some of this is down to what presumably would be down to the 23 hour a day bang up due to the lockdowns. So they compared it to like inspections they'd done in 2019, 2016 and things like that, when they was, and by all accounts they got better of each one. When I talk about how dangerous and how many assault, I'm talking about from my experience only. I was, like I said, I was on that one wing. I can't see it being totally safe now. I mean, gang culture, gang violence, gang beefs, that's all happening in the scrubs. Yeah, the only way you're going to stop all that sort of stuff really is lockdowns, isn't it? How are you going to stop people beefing, walking about with bladed articles or whatnot? Lockdowns. I reckon a lot of jails would have, last couple of years, would have thought, oh yeah, look at these new things that come in. They're pretty handy for keeping prisoners safe. Let's just implement them throughout. Prisoners fall for it though, because they'll just carry on doing what they're doing until the jails go lockdown for everyone. 139 prisoners a month arrive at the jail. I would have thought it was more than that. I've never really thought that much of it. I mean, it holds 1,030, just under 1,300 people. 139 prisoners a month arrive at the Nick. That's 1,664 a year. Yeah, and considering, I just thought it was more. I just thought it was more than that would have come in. I would have probably said that was a week. 139 prisoners arrive. But mind, when you say that, you're not talking people going to court and coming back from court, because they're not new arrivals, are they? They've going to court and coming back, and they will take up a huge chunk of the morning buses and all that. 339 are foreign nationals. 55% are black or another ethnic minority. 64% are unsentenced or remanded on remand. 147 prisoners are released from there each month, and 263 prisoners currently receive support for substance use. I would have thought that was much higher. In reality, it'd be much higher, because there'll be people there that are not telling them that they want help and things like that. But I would have thought even officially there would have been more than that. But again, I've never really thought about it that much, so what do I know? Overall, it seems that the scrubs is headed in the right direction, which is a good thing. I'm going to remain a bit cynical about it. I mean, it's easy to paint a rosy picture when everyone's locked up due to the pandemic. But, you know, come back in 6 months' time and do another report during SOCH and see how safe it is. And just to balance it out about how great and cheerful it all is now, a governor, not the number one, but a governor nonetheless, was arrested by Scotland Yard's anti-corruption unit in September on suspicion of misconduct in a public office and drugs offences. Naughty, naughty. Doesn't matter how much good you're doing, some things never change, innit? Naughty, naughty, naughty screws. If you enjoyed that, hit subscribe, and we'll chat again. Adios.